Hello, everybody. I'm Taylor, and this is Critical Commentary.
200 subscribers! Woo, woo, woo.
I know 200 subscribers is probably nothing compared to the amount of subscribers that most people have. But to be honest with you, this has totally made my day and has been the perfect ending to a pretty rough year. I thought because you guys have been so amazing in your support and engagement that I would show you something, maybe I guess you could call it a tease more than something, of what I did for one of my classes, but something that I'm also hoping to bring to the channel in 2022. When I first started my channel, I remember telling my mom that I was going to try YouTube, and she was very skeptical. She's still skeptical. Let's not pretend. She was like, so what are you going to do on it then? What's your whole shtick? And I told her that I wanted to marry my love of psychology and mental health with film. I will say, even though I've been really enjoying doing what I've been doing with the trailer reactions and the reviews, I haven't really been able to do that. I haven't really been able to combine those two together to make a real cohesive video. But what I ended up doing during one of my classes this semester was that. And I really am curious to see if it's something that I should continue on with this channel. It's not necessarily going to be the majority of my content, but I would like to maybe throw it in here and there. I've been inspired by a lot of different content creators on YouTube who specialize in video essays, with people like Tara Mooney, I know Princess Weeks, but I believe her YouTube channel is like Melina Pendulum. And also The Take, which is a female ran and created channel that does specifically essays on tropes and different types of movie styles. And they even do some Harry Potter stuff from like their old catalog. And one of the things that I saw in their video was talking about Black women in film and how that is a representation of kind of how we stereotype Black women in reality. You know, there's always some parallel between the two. And when I was in my class this semester, we had to pick a mental health issue that really stuck out to us. And because I do love movies, I wanted to see how these tropes, when they are translated into our reality, how they affect the mental health of Black women. And I ended up finding so much information about how there's just a constant amount of racial disparity between Black women receiving mental health services, mental health seeking behaviors. And I felt like this was something that I really had to talk about. So I'm going to actually play you that video. It's very, very short. I would like to maybe, if I do create video essays in the future, to make them a bit longer. This was supposed to be only 10 minutes, so I had to keep it within the certain time frame. But I'm really curious to know if you guys like it, if you think that this is something that I should do more often, if there are specific topics that you would like me to get into, you can totally do so in the comments down below. I would like to just make sure to let you guys know to follow me on Twitter and Instagram at CriticalCom with 2M's TV. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a video here on Critical Commentary. Enjoy!
I'm smarter than you. I'm more ambitious than you. 30 years from now, when I am the second Black female president, all you'll be able to do is think about me. And I won't remember your name.
I have always been a huge fan of the film industry. I grew up seeing it as a visual medium for storytelling where I could place myself inside the minds of characters to learn various perspectives of life. In my formative years, movies and TV were where I helmed my self-concept, but it was difficult to do so when the characters who looked like me only fit into specific archetypes. When you think of a Black woman, What do you see? The sapphire, consumed with rage and unbridled aggression. Maybe the earth mama, healer, or magical Negro. The sassy best friend. Black women have been defined by their ability to support others rather than themselves, and this has created the biggest archetype of them all, the superwoman. The superwoman is ideal. She's continuously beautiful, sassy, intelligent, and able to carry the flaws of the world on her back with a big smile. I remember seeing this woman in the faces of my mother, my aunts, as they worked so hard to just carve out a little space for themselves in a world who only saw them as a perpetual maid. I even see this woman in myself as I drown myself in work and activities so that I can be the best version of me. But when it's all said and done, what does that do to the psyche and mental health of Black women as a result of trying to be perfect and the one who cleans up after everyone else?
These challenges with our mental health histories for Black women, oftentimes because we serve in those roles with consequence to ourselves, it costs us our own mental health. We don't seek out the services and support that we need to. And our faith then tells us that we shouldn't need to seek out these outside pieces of support because God will heal us. This is not sustainable. We know that women experience mental health issues 50% times more than their male counterparts. But we also know for all of those people who express having psychological distress that Black women tend to seek help 50% less than their white female counterparts.
This idea of perfectionism in Black women is a rising topic within the mental health community, especially since they are at the highest risk of experiencing gendered racism, which not only incorporates sexism and gendered roles, but specifically tailors those roles to their race and ethnicity, hence the multifacets of the superwoman. I'm aware that the Black community is not a monolith and that we are as expansive as the diaspora. So when I use the term Black woman, read it in a more intersectional sense. I want to include people of the Caribbean, Latino, and biracial groups who identify as both female, whether cis or not, and Black. Because the world has been conditioned to see Black women in a certain light, code switching and identity shifting have become the signature coping strategies used to minimize any anticipated microaggressive or racist behaviors. This means getting a front lace, a perm, or any other form of taming one's natural hair texture to emulate European beauty standards. This also includes changes in one's demeanor to seem soft and approachable, or even high achieving, to demonstrate that all accomplishes were earned by hard work and not circumstances. But this takes a toll on Black women's mental health, which is exacerbated by the current stigma around health-seeking behavior and bureaucratic obstacles used to keep services within certain socioeconomic groups. In situations where counseling is both financially and socially achievable, there is another obstacle: the counselor. While the shift towards multiculturally competent counselors is increasingly more common, we can't deny that most of the widely accepted techniques and approaches, especially when it comes to billing purposes, are Eurocentric. This has potentially damaging effects and can re-traumatize a group of people who are already under pressure and reluctant to even receive services. So, what should we do about it? On the film side, I think this change is beginning to occur already as we see more Black female creators enter Hollywood and tell stories that do not adhere to any of the aforementioned stereotypes. With the brilliant minds of Issa Rae and Michaela Cole, to name a few, we now see more messy and complicated Black women on screen who are also becoming more conscientious of being their most authentic selves, which sometimes negates identity shifting as a whole. In the mental health field, I think requiring non-BIPOC or female counselors to be more trauma-informed and culturally dexterous is an amazing first step. This can be the building blocks by which we as counselors treat Black women, by incorporating generational and individual trauma in the narrative, whilst accepting the women for being who they are, human. This visibility will create a place of empowerment and safety where they will feel more inclined to share their experiences and be vulnerable. I also believe that this will show improvement in worsening symptoms of depression and anxiety. But there's more we can do. By having more Black female mental health professionals in the field, we can take our own lived experiences into academia and create the framework by which new counselors can follow. Imagine a world where Black women aren't misdiagnosed with schizophrenia despite showing symptoms of major depressive disorder, or being seen as having a substance abuse problem when the issue is an eating disorder. By having more academics from the community, we can change the narrative in a way that sees the magic in Black women and acknowledges that sometimes even superwomen can be soft and loving and in need of that love. So what do you think? Do you believe that, we have to break the system from within? Or do you believe that maybe empathy and knowledge and more representation in things like film and TV are the way to go to kind of create a more inclusive and comprehensive perspective of the Black woman? Do you think that by integrating more multicultural approaches and trauma-informed language are the way to go about it? Let me know what you think. I would love to continue this conversation, especially with those who don't look like me and who haven't had my experience. Sometimes the best way forward is to be seen by someone who isn't so close to the topic or influenced by the things that I spoke about in this video. Maybe sometimes being loved is being seen by someone who's never ever stepped a minute in your shoes. And maybe that's the way that we can all heal. Bye.